नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, chapter number 14, beginning from verse number 15. So we studied how Buddha was born from Ila through moon god Soma. And then from Buddha came Pururava. Okay. So Tatah Pururava Jagye Ilayam Ye Udahrita. So Buddha and Ila they had Pururava. Soma was through Tara. Buddha was born. So it is said that then Pururava he became the king, and Pururava was very beautiful. So that was one of his significant characteristic. And he was so beautiful that tasya rupa guna audarya Srila Dravina Vikraman Shrutva Urvashindra Bhavane Giyamanan Sudarshina Tadintikam Upeyaya Devi Smara Darshita. So he was so beautiful that the talk of his beauty went up to Indra's kingdom. He had beauty, other good qualities, generous, rich, and heroic, Vikrama. So many of these qualities he had, and his fame spread up to Indraloka. So in Indraloka, Urvashi, when she heard about him from Surarshina, from Sri Narada's, Narada carries news from here and there, so she was immediately attracted to him. Okay, Tadantikam Upeyaya Devi Smara Darsh Ardita. Smara Shara Ardita. She was pierced by the arrow of Cupid. Although arrow of Cupid is made of flower, but it goes deeper than any other arrow. That's why Krishna says, Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti manishina. This pushpita vach, pushpita flower, flowery arrow. Aya. So these have some special effect. If you have to shoot an arrow, it will not go through the wall, but fragrance can find its way, right? So therefore flowery arrow can go where the normal arrow would not go. And Cupid's arrow is flowery. So therefore it says Smara Shara Ardeta. Being pierced by the arrow of Smara. So the Smara is also actually interesting word for Cupid. Right? Smara means what? What does smara means? To remember. So this is one thing which people remember. They may not remember anything else, but this they remember. So that's why it's called smara. So it's not that anyone can become attracted to anybody. There is also some story behind that. There is also some karma. So why is that only Urvashi was attracted to him? There are so many other apsaras also. Right? There is Rambha, Tilottama, Sudarshana, all these are there. So why only Urvashi was attracted? So she has some story behind that. That she was cursed, as it is described later on. This Mitra Varuna. Remember the story how Agastya and Vasishtha were born? Right? They were born from the semen of Mitra Varuna. And the instrumental person for that was Urvashi. Because Urvashi was supposed to come, then she did not come. So they became upset and they had cursed her. Because she was absorbed in the thought of Pururava, and instead of going and meeting them, she forgot, because smara. Right? So when you remember smara, then there is a vismara for everything else. Then you forget the other things. So then they cursed her that you are thinking of a human being, so you have to go and be with a human being. Because devas don't like it so much. So that's the reason that she came. So Urvashi is the most beautiful Apsara. Why she is most beautiful? Because she is created by Narayana. The story is there in the 12th canto that Nara and Narayana, they were born to Dharma and Murti. Right? Murti is one of the daughter of Daksha Prajapati. So she was given to Dharma. And they gave birth to these twins, Nara and Narayana. And Nara and Narayana, they went to Himalaya to do severe austerity. So they are famous for that. When Indra came to know that Nara and Narayana are doing tapasya in the Himalayas, then immediately he was troubled. Because he is always worried. When you are at position number 1, on one side you are very happy and proud that you are number 1. On the other side there is also always anxiety that somebody is going to topple you down and then become number 1. So this anxiety is always there. So Indra is a good example of that. That he always has this worry whenever somebody is doing some tapasya, some yajna, too much yajnas, then he loses his sleep. And then he creates obstacles. Surkrita antaraya. So, obstacles created by the suras. So he called, so his chief of his army is Smara, Cupid. So he called Cupid, he says, Cupid ji, so Cupid is very much worried when he is called for any job like this. Because on one side he has to follow the order of Indra. On the other side he knows that wherever he goes these people are powerful, he can be in trouble. But what can he do? So nobody is peaceful in this material world. Cupid gives trouble to everybody, but he also has his own problems. So he said, look, these two fellows in Himalayas, they are doing tapasya, and I am very much worried. So you somehow disturb them. So he said, okay. So Cupid has his army of Vayu, these girls. Urvashi is the chief. So he went there. Urvashi was not there at that time. All these Rambha, Tilottama, etc. were there. So he went there, he made the atmosphere very nice. Spring season, flowers started coming, although it was out of season. Still the trees started flowering and the birds, cuckoos singing. And these apsaras, they were dancing and singing. They also have their bodily fragrance. So even if you have closed eyes, you smell. That's why I said that the smell can enter. Even Kumaras, they got the smell from the fragrance of the tulsi, which was on the feet of Lord Vishnu. Tasya arvinda nainasya padarvindasya kanjalka tulsi makaranda vayu. Right? Sankshobham chakara. It entered. And without taking any permission, it can enter anywhere. So this Narnarayan thought that what is this nice smell coming? This is summer season, everything is dry, and where is this fragrance? So they open the eyes and they see spring. And then they saw these girls dancing. So it did not take them much time to understand what is going on. So then Narayana Rishi, he produced one beautiful girl from his thigh. So that's why she is called Urvashi. Uru means thigh. So coming from Uruvasi. Okay. And then when Cupid saw this, he already got defeated. He says, how can I defeat them? They are defeating me, because even Cupid was looking at Urvashi. He has never seen anybody so beautiful. She was most beautiful. So he went back to Indra, and Indra said, what happened? He says, I lost. So he says, why? So then he explained. He says, this fellow produced such a beautiful girl which I have never seen. I got into trouble myself. I went to attract their mind, I got attracted. So then Indra was very keen. He says, if that is the case, we should get that girl here. She should join our army. She will be useful to us. So then Indra came and he paid obeisances to Narnarayan Rishi. He praised them. And then he was looking at Urvashi. He said, no, don't worry. You can take her. We have no use for her. So that's how Urvashi came to heaven. And now Urvashi was the most powerful weapon Indra has. So this whole moon dynasty then actually comes from Urvashi. It's a very Khichdi dynasty, if you see. Came from Sun dynasty through Sudyumna, who is in Sun dynasty from Manu. Then comes moon. Sudyumna becomes Ila. Right? And then comes Buddha. then Pururava, and then Pururava, as will be said, he produced 6 children from Urvashi. And that's how it came. That's why when Arjuna had once gone to Swargaloka, heaven, to help Indra fight this Kalikeya Asuras, so then Indra was very happy and he asked Arjuna to stay in heaven and have good time. So then at night Urvashi came to Arjuna's room knocking, because Arjuna was also beautiful. After all, he is the Nara. Because Narnarayan is Krishna Arjuna. So it's produced by Narayana. He was attracted, but Arjuna, what he said was, he paid respect to her. Because in the daytime, when there was assembly of Indra, and Urvashi was also there giving entertainment, so Arjuna was very much looking at her. So she thought that Arjuna is interested in her, and she was happy because Arjuna was also beautiful and he is son of Indra and he has defeated all these asuras. So women are attracted to heroic people, beautiful people. So, but Arjuna said that no, I was looking at you because I was seeing that you are actually the origin of our whole dynasty. So I was looking at you out of respect and not with any other idea. So this is the same Urvashi who came to meet Pururava, and Pururava had children from her. So now it is described here that she came, Shrutva Urvashi Indra Bhavane Giyamanan Surarshina. So hearing all these wonderful qualities, beauty, generosity, heroic, valorous quality, so she came, Tadantikam Upeyaya Devi Smara Sharardita. So she approached him. And Mitra Varunayo Shapad Apanna Narlokatam Nishamya Purusha Shreshtham Kandarpamiva Rupinam Dhritim Vishtabhyalalana Upatasthe Tadantike. So she was cursed by Mitra Varuna to come and be on earth. So therefore she has come to Narloka, the mortal world of human beings. And Nisamya Purusha Shreshtham Kandarpamiva Rupinam. Hearing that this king, he was beautiful like Kandarpa. So she came Dhritim. So it was not easy just to approach him, but she was very determined. Dhritim Vishtabhyalalna Upatasthe Tadantike. So she approached or came near him. So Mitra Varunayor Tad Darshana Janita Kame Vikarayo. So why Mitra Varuna has cursed her? Because they became also lustful by looking at her. And that's when they said, Urvashi Tvam Manushiva Manushya Bhakta Bhavatu. That you are like Manushi and therefore you may have association with men or man. So Abhishapat Narloktam Narlokam, that's how she came down. And Pururava of course was more than happy. Somebody comes from heaven and meets an earthly person, then he is so happy. So Satam Vilokya Nirpati Harshinot Fulla Lochana Vacha Shlakshnaya Vacha Devim Hrishta Tanuruha. So after seeing her, the king Harshena utfulla lochana. So out of joy, his eyes widened. His eyes became not 20/20 but 40/40. So he was just marveling that wow, such a beauty. And he spoke very sweet words, Slakshnaya Vacha, very affectionately. Devim Hrishta Tanuruha. So he spoke to that Devim, while her Tanuruha, hair on her body, were upright. So we had one devotee here in Jiva. Her hair were always going up. Whenever I met her, she will always say, look my hair. I do not remember any time when she did not tell me that. Right? And you also experience that? She says, look.
My hair stands on the...
Yes. Although I never saw any hair on her head. So she was always having her hair standing on the end. I think she was doing this to everybody. So poetic people are like that. That's why she was teaching Kavya. So poetic people are very soft-hearted and emotional. So they can express their emotions. Because this is one of the symptoms of love, right? Hair standing on the end. So it does not happen to those who have hard heart. So emotional people, they manifest it. So here the king is described as Hrishta Tanuruha, that his hair were, actually what is described here is that the hair on her body were happy. It is not said that he was happy, but actually I think it is Bahuvruhi Samas. Hrishta Tanuruha Yasya Sa. That whose hair were happy. So what does it mean that hair are happy? Means that he was so happy that even his hair became happy. That is the significance. Otherwise you should say that he was happy. Right? So in Hindi you say that uska rom rom khil utha. Right? Rom rom khil utha. So this is saying in Hindi that every pore of your body, it bloomed out of joy. That is what it means, Hrishta Tanuruham. Means that there was a feeling of happiness in every cell of his body. Cells also feel happy. Cells also feel, because when cells are not happy, then you are not happy. If cells are not healthy, then you are sick. Right? So when mind is happy, then body is happy because the cells also become happy. So this is what is described here. So there is no much comment on this. So what is being described here is also a little bit like Kavya style of description, because remember Bhagavatam also talks of rasa, although this is Laukik rasa. This is not Adhyatmik rasa. Adhyatmik rasa will come in 10th canto. Here this story of Pururava is a very famous story in Mahabharata, and also some plays have been written on that. Most of these stories you find in Mahabharata in much more detail, and great Sanskrit poets have written plays on the basis of these stories. So Pururava story, because it's a love story. It's a Laukika love story. People like that very much. So it's described in detail. So Raja Uvacha, the king said, Swagatam te vararohe ashyatam karvam kim sanramayashva maya sakam ratirnau shashvati samaha. So he is not wasting time. Of course, in Bhagavatam, the author doesn't waste time. If you want to read more details, you have to go to other books. So he said, welcome, O beautiful lady, Vararohe. So, Asyatam Karvamakim. Similar statement, remember? Swagatam va Mahabhaga. Priya Kim Karvani. Right? Same. So, Swagatam te Vararohe. Here it's only one. So, Vararohe, there are many of them. So, he says Mahabhaga. And Ashyatam, have a seat. Karvamakim, what shall I do for you? So he offered her a place to sit down and then asked, how are you? From where are you coming? Who are you? Who is your father? Are you married? All these questions you can assume, although they are not stated there. So, and why have you come here? So as Krishna says that Bruhi Agata Karanam. Right? Tell me, why have you come? So he has asked, that means all this dialogue happened. So he's just summarizing everything in one sentence. And then he says, Sanramasva maya sakam. Just enjoy with me. No need to go anywhere. You have come to the right place, to the right person, at right time. Right? Krishna said that all Deskalpatra was wrong. Remember? He said that it's the wrong time, wrong place, wrong people. And he says everything is right. Right time, right place, right person. So he's not playing any prank. Why he is not playing any prank and Krishna was playing? Because he has no control. He is too eager to meet her. He doesn't have that much time, because to play that kind of prank you also have to have some forbearance. But if you are too much adhira, then there is no time for that. So he is different. So he says Ratir now Shashwati Sama. And he says let our love continue for long, long time. So that's what it's saying. So which means that it will not continue for a long time. And this is the reverse psychology. Why is he saying Shashwati Sama? Because he fears that she will not stay long. Otherwise, what is the need to say that? So many times when people say something, they actually mean just the opposite. Or they expect the opposite. That's why they are speaking like that. So he was thinking that how can such a beautiful woman stay here on earth? She is coming from heaven. So he gives the proposal to begin with. So Urvashi, now Ratir Astu. So let's have our love affair. Ratir now Astu. So Urvashi Ruvacha, Urvashi said, Kasyastvaina sajjeta manodrishtischa sundara yadangantara masadya chavate hiriransaya. So she is also great. She is no less. She is coming from heaven. She has met so many men. So he says, who is that woman whose mind and eyes will not get fixated on you O beautiful one. So beauty is something which everybody likes. The other things which people may like, may not like. But beauty is one common characteristic which everyone likes. People may have different concept of beauty, but whatever is their concept of beauty, they are attracted to that. So that's why Swayam Bhagavan is called Krishna. Because there is nobody who cannot be attracted to him. Why? Because he is the most beautiful. And whether you are theist or atheist, it doesn't matter. You are attracted to him. Even Krishna's enemy, they appreciated that he is beautiful. They may have some hatred for him for whatever other reasons, but inside they knew that fellow is beautiful. So therefore she says that Kasyas tvai na sajjeta mano drishti cha sundara. And there is nothing more flattering for someone to hear about their beauty. You can praise somebody for so many things, but if you praise about beauty, then this is something which puts one on high. So therefore that is the points he catches. There were other things which he has heard earlier. He said Roop and Guna and Audarya and Sheela, right? Vikrama, Dravina. She did not say any of these things. She did not say you are very rich, you are very heroic, you are very charitable. She said you are very beautiful. So beauty is something which everybody wants to have. Everybody wants to be seen as beautiful. And beauty is appreciated by the eyes. So you cannot expect person whose vision is not there to appreciate that. So he says drishtischa. So drishti and mana, the eyes become attracted to the beauty, and then mind. Mind follows the eyes. And then she says that on top of that, I have met you in a solitary place. Pururava was actually in his pleasure garden in the evening. He went, after doing his daily duties, activities, then he is relaxing and he was alone there. So that's when she approached him. So that is what it says, that Yad angantaram asadya chabute hi riransaya. So seeing or meeting in a solitary place, the mind and the eyes are totally captivated by you having attained you in this solitary place. So chavate means falling. So means just like the bees, they fall onto the flower, or like the moth is attracted to the fire, so it falls into that. Like that, the mind, when it is attracted to somebody, it drops. That is the meaning of chavate. And the eyes also. So that's what she says, that mano drishtischa sundara chavate hi riransaya. That they fall into that means they become fully fixed on you. And she is not only talking about herself, but he says anyone. So therefore he says, Yad yasmat anga he rajan, O king, antaram rahasi avkasham asadya. So finding you in a solitary place Riransaya manasyavate vikriti bhavati. The mind becomes completely fixed. Vikriti bhavati means that there is a transformation in the mind out of attraction for you. So, but she is very clever. And this is interesting that on one side she is completely attracted to him. On the other side, she is not losing her intelligence completely. Which means that she does not want to stay on earth permanently. She knew that she has been cursed and she has to return back. So she was told this by Narada. When she was coming down, then Narada has told this to her, that this is what you should tell to the king so that you can return back to Svargaloka. So there are 3 conditions which she is going to put to him. And these are here. Eta Varanakau Rajan Nyasau Rakshasva Manada Samrashe Rangshe Mahata Sakam Slaghya Strinam Varah Smritaha Ghritam me Veera Bhakshyam Syat Nekshetvanyatra Maithunat Vivashasham Tatah Tatheti Pratipede Mahatmana. So she said that I will stay with you, but number 1, I have these 2 sheep babies. Sheepish babies. Varanaka. So you have to protect them. This is your responsibility. So Rakshashva, Manada. And number 2, so Samrasya Bhavta Sakam Shlaghya Strinam Varasmrite. I will enjoy with you, no problem, as you have offered. And it says that women, they choose a person whom they consider as the best. Slaghya Vara Smrita. Second condition which I have is that I will only eat ghee. No oil, even if it is cold pressed virgin olive oil. I don't want that. The only thing I want is cow's ghee and nothing else. So this is my second condition. So the king thought, what type of conditions he is asking? What is this childish thing? I am a king. I give protection to the whole kingdom. What is there to protect these 2 sheep babies? And then, this is India. There is no lack of ghee here. I mean, in those days, not now. There is plenty of ghee all around, because everybody had cows, and these cows were giving so much milk, like the Western cows. So there is no problem of ghee. He says, yeah, how much ghee you want? You can make a whole tank of ghee in your room. You can drink it every day. But the third one is the one which was problematic. So it says that Nekshe tu anyatra maithunat vivashasham. And I should never see you naked except when we are uniting. If I see you naked any other time, then I will leave. If you are not able to fulfill any of these 3 conditions, then I will leave. So this is the contract. This is the marriage contract. So it is not only some present modern day thing that when people get married they make some contract. It is coming from the very beginning of the dynasty that the mother of this Chandravansa, she made a contract that she will stay only if these three conditions are fulfilled, otherwise she will leave. So what king has to say? He was so eager to be with her. At that time she could have asked for anything. And these things were not even so difficult to fulfill. So he has absolutely no problem in accepting. So he said, Tat tatheti pratipede mahatmana. So he immediately accepted that yes. And of course they don't have to make some court paper for this. Just giving the word is enough. So it was agreed. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that why did she do this? He says, Shapa avashana mishena swargam jigmisho stasya bhasha bandhamaha. That she wanted to return back to Swarga when the period for her curse was over. So she has to find some pretext. She cannot say, okay, now my time is up and I am going. So you remember when the Ganga Devi, she married Shantanu, she has also put a similar condition. Of course, her condition was very severe, and she said that if you stop me, whatever I do, then I am going to just leave. So similar thing. So this is the techniques he devised to return back. So therefore it says Jigamiso, that desiring to return back. Bhasha bandha means contract. Etaviti dvabhyam, described in these two slokas. Urnakau meshau nyasau nikshepa rupau raksha. So these are the two sheeps, and I am entrusting them to you, please protect them. Yaslagya saeva strinam varasmrita. One who is praiseworthy, only such a person is liked by women. Iti vijatiyatvam strinam asmakam na dosha iti bhava. So he says that this is not a defect because this is the nature of women. So ghritam me bhakshyamiti. Why did she say that I will eat only ghee? So this is because she is coming from heaven, Swarga, and Swargaloka, what do they eat? They eat only Amrit. Right? The Devas are called Amrit Bhoji. So they have Amrit Kunda, and that is only what they drink. So this is the Amrit Kunda which Garuda wanted to steal to get free from the bondage of her stepmother. Right? So Diti, who gave birth to snakes. So, and ghee is considered as the Amrita. Now people say if you eat ghee you will have cholesterol problem. But Urvasi is coming from Swargaloka. She says, I will have only ghee and nothing else. I don't care about cholesterol or gaining body weight. All the women are very much worried about that. So she was not. So there is a Shruti statement that Amritam va ajyam. That ghee is considered as Amrita. In Ayurveda, ghee is considered as nectar. Ayurvai ghritam. So ghee is considered as life. Means it increases life if you eat ghee. That's why previously people in India, they lived so long. Because they were eating ghee and the ghee was pure. Now even if you eat ghee, you don't know what all is mixed in it. And anyway, even if you have your own ghee, then still water, air, everything is polluted. So that ghee was very important, and this ghee, therefore devatas also take that. That's why whenever you do yajna, it has to be done with ghee, because devatas do not accept without that. Now she is coming from the Devaloka, so she wants only ghee. Whether you put ghee in the fire or you put ghee in the mouth, it has to be ghee. So that's the reason that she said, Iti Shruter Devanam cha Amrita Ashitvat. So Devas, they are known to eat only Amrita. Tvam tattasya vachnam tathastu iti pratipede angikritvan. So thereafter, he accepted her conditions. And since then they started living together. So Urvashi became the queen of King Pururava. Pururava's capital was Pratishthanapuram. This place is near Prayag. If you go to Allahabad, and near Allahabad is Prayag. Prayag is the place where Kumbh Mela is done, where Yamuna and Ganga, they meet each other. And also Saraswati, which is not visible now. But it is supposed to be the confluence of these three rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. So that's where the capital of King Pururava was. And that's where they lived together. So aho rupam aho bhavo naraloka vimohanam kune seveta manujo devim tvam swayamagatam. So he is very much fascinated by her beauty, and therefore he says aho rupam, that what a beauty, and aho bhavam, and what bhavas. Bhava, I don't know whether there is a good English word for it, but the various hav and bhava. So if you read the 33 bhavas described, so this is that bhava. This is not, bhava is used in many senses. So hava bhava refers to the movements and expressions of a young woman who is in love. There are various symptoms which are manifest in the body of a woman. Women are more emotional, therefore they express their emotions more than men. And some of these emotions are manifest externally, in facial expressions, in movements, in appearance, in speech. So we studied these how there are definitions given in Alankar Kaustubh. Hav, bhav, hela, alankar, etc. So this is that bhav, what he means here. So aho rupam means what a beauty, and aho bhava, that these expressions of love which are manifest. And naraloka vimohanam, these are very enticing or alluring to any human being. Naraloka. Kona seveta manujo devim tvam swayamagatam. Who is that who would not accept you, O Devi, who has come by herself here? So I do not have to make any effort. You have appeared by your own will. So how is that I will not accept you? In other words, people would make great efforts, they will endeavor to have you, and for me you have just appeared. So Kona Sevet Manuja, who is that man who would not accept you? So bhava, bhava, havadi, bhava here refers to bhav and hav and so on. So taya sa purusha shrestho रमयन्त्या अथार्हतः रेमे सुरविहारेषु kamam chaitrarthadishu. So that heroic person, he enjoyed with her and he traveled with her to so many different places. From here it looks like that he also went to heaven with her, because Chatraratha, Nandanvan, these are the forests in the Swarga. So Sura Vihareshu, Vihar, the places of enjoyment of the Devas, he went there because Urvashi is from Devaloka, so she has the facility to travel. So she was traveling with him to all these different places and they were enjoying freely. So the king was completely absorbed in this love affair and not so much paying attention to his kingdom. He forgot all that and he was traveling here and there. So now we will read tomorrow how now she will leave him.
Question, Babaji.
Yes, sir.
I have two questions. Why is it said in commentary, Vijatiyatvam strinam asmakam na dosha?
Because she is not same jati, she is not a human.
She is not a what? She is not a woman.
Human.
Human. Oh,
She
okay.
is coming from the Devaloka, so therefore she is Vijatiya, different class. So generally it is said that the friendship, marriage and enmity, it is good in the same category of people, same class of people. So she is saying that, because she is saying, do not think that I come from a different class and you are from different class and our match is not good. He says, as far as women are concerned, whoever is the best, they accept, and jati is not so important. That's the meaning.
Second question I have is, she was cursed to come on the Prithvi, then how she was allowed again to go for Vihar in a Suraloka?
Well, she has to come on Prithvi and be wife of a human being. That was the curse.
So there was no restriction on her to travel outside of the Prithvi?
No,
Okay.
just that she has to come down.
Babaji Maharaj,
Yes.
I had one question. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that whenever there is any mixing, then Varna Shankaras are produced. But
Yes.
like you described for this Chandravansh, this is all mixing, all khichdi, like man turning woman and then becoming Ila, and then Buddha born from a Brahmana's wife, that too Guru's wife. But still all these people are so beautiful and a whole dynasty is, even Krishna is appearing in this dynasty. So what is the reason?
So this Varnashram was in the beginning. What can you do when Brahma produced in the very beginning? Because this is not so long ago. This is the beginning of the thing. So there are very limited people. Now if you say what Varna, everybody is coming from Brahma. So they are all one Varna only. They are all sons of Brahma, right? And Brahma is the one who created Manu and Shatrupa. So in the beginning, it has to be like this only. And later on, they make all this Varna Shankara. And anyway, this is not a Varna Shankara. Pururava and Urvashi is not a Varna Shankara. Varna Shankara means mixing of two Varnas. Urvashi, what Varna she has? It's not mentioned whether she is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra or anything like that.
But earlier, like Soma marrying, not marrying exactly, then stealing his guru's wife, like Brahmana and Kshatriya.
And that's why I'm saying that in the beginning it was very limited population. So it was not so strict, and anyway it is not something which was approved. Even Brahma came and chastised him for this, we already read that. It's not that okay, he has done it and then everybody can do it. Who is the one who approved it? Brahma did not approve, Brihaspati did not approve. That's why there was a fight.
I have a follow-up question on yesterday.
Yes.
So it's on the story of Shiva making the forest area to convert everyone who enters into a female. So I was wondering what the dhvani of this the setup is. Is it that because his intention was to protect his privacy against the sages who wanted to get his darshan?
Right.
So then he propagated that, look, if you enter here, you will become a female. And then he had his peace. So I was wondering, what does it mean? Is it that?
So what it means is that when you have a strong emotion, if you are a strong-minded person, and you have a very strong mind,
Yeah.
then you can influence the whole area with that bhav. That's what it means. It's like if you have your father in the house and he is in a very angry mood, the whole house is in the angry mood, right? So his anger is influencing everything.
Yes.
So when Shiva is in loving mood, then he is influencing all this area around it. Then he is the only male and everything has to be female.
Interesting.
Yes.
So I was thinking that, I had understood it the way that this fact that you will become a female, that this is threatening the ahankara of these sages. So I was wondering if it somehow means that maybe these sages were doing severe austerities, and now they knew that, if I go there, then I will become a woman, and being in a female body is an even greater tapasya maybe than the tapasya that I'm doing, so I better don't go there.
How is it greater tapasya? I don't understand.
I don't know, just my speculation. That, that because they didn't go.
Yeah, because who wants to be a female there? I mean, you belong to, you have your family and children. Don't think that the sages are wandering as sannyasis, they have their family life. It's like what happened to the king.
Okay.
So now you want to drop that and become a female, what irresponsible person you are then.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So you have to think like that. So coming for darshan is okay, but I don't want to. And also they understand that this is the area he does not want us to go. It is also the meaning, so why go in that area? And one who does not listen to that can pay the price.
Okay. So it does not imply anything like, okay, they wanted to have darshan of Shiva, of their object of devotion.
So there is a time for everything. It's like deities take rest and then you say, well, I want to have darshan now. So then we should open the curtain to give you darshan, or you should come when he is giving darshan. So that's the message. Yes, you have something.
Haribol Babaji?
Yes.
Yeah, just one question. You explained why she was only eating ghee, but I'm wondering about these two sheep babies. Does it mean something that it is one condition, or is it something just, I don't know, whimsical and a women-sensitive kind of thing? And the third condition, that's how she will treat him then. But I'm wondering if there's a more deeper sense out of these two
So, women like children, and she was not married. She did not have children, so she is keeping these two babies. Like many times you see, they have cats and they have dogs. So that's why it's like a thing for them to keep, take care, play. But here it has an importance because that's how she will get out from here and go back. He already said that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that this was a pretext for her to go back. Yes.
Is about that you said that she made this Vashabandhan, this compact, and then you said that there is not a defect because this is the nature of the woman. So means that the nature of the woman is to put conditions.
I don't think I said that this is not a defect. At least I don't remember saying it.
I understood that.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
You can pass the mic here. Where's the other one?
Urvasi is influenced by, attracted towards the Prabhupada Maharaj by listening through the sages, and she came to enjoy here. So it looks like how people do in the material life. So
Yes.
in situation means our intelligence just goes down, not working. But here shows that she is always means her intelligence working from starting to end.
How?
Means when she before getting to involve for enjoyment, she making contact.
For what? For what is she making contract?
To live.
To live. But live where? Go to another enjoyment or not?
Yes.
So his buddhi is still in enjoyment. She is not making use of the buddhi that I want to become devotee or I want to give up this material life. She just wants to go to a better situation where she was, and here it is. She is coming for curse. So then she wants to get out of it as quickly as possible. It's like if you go to hospital, you don't want to stay there too long. As long as the disease is cured, then you want to get back home. So that's what she is doing.
So her situation is different from this social activity, what is happening in our life.
Yeah, so when you say you lose intelligence, means, what does it mean you lose intelligence? You lose intelligence because you don't care for other things except for what you want to enjoy.
Yes.
But she is not losing that, she is still in the enjoyment only. She is not going for something great. Alright, okay, Hari Bol.